Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Bobcat Football on SportsNetUSA.net. Not just Bobcat Football, but playoff football. I'm Matt Rogers alongside Ryan Osborn and Corey Neyland. And guys, we have ourselves a playoff game between two very high-powered offenses, and it should be a good one.
No, and here's the interesting thing, Matt, Corey, you take a look at this offense for Mount SAC. Hunter Herrera started off the game last week. In the first half, he was moving the ball around. Third quarter switches up. First two possessions doesn't work. They switch to Dante Bell. Both these two guys have had almost equal numbers, 1,300 yards and 1,200 yards for Bell and Herrera respectively. Corey, two different quarterbacks with two different styles who can move the offense.
Yeah, and it plays into Saddleback's hands, if you will, because as you both mentioned, 6 touchdown returns, INTs for touchdowns. If they go to the outside, meaning Mount SAC, Saddleback is ripe for at least 2 today.
Well, and one thing that needs to be mentioned, you know, this Mount SAC offense has a great passing game, but they also have Aiden Ramos in the backfield. He leads all Southern California players in touchdowns. He's got 18 on the year. The guy basically lives in the end zone. Coach Fisher said he is going to be the key for this defense today, stopping him.
And the person who I'm going to look at in terms of stopping him has got to be Gavin Blum. If he can control the line of scrimmage and get himself into the backfield, Saddleback's defensive line is going to have a good day.
So Saddleback won the coin toss. They elected to defer to the second half. And so Mount SAC is going to start this game with the ball. And there's the kickoff, and we are underway. That ball's going to be bobbled in the end zone, and then a knee is taken, and the Mount SAC offense is going to take over. And we'll see who's going to be the starting quarterback. Will it be Hunter Herrera? Will it be Dante Bell? As you were saying, Ryan, they basically have the same statistics on the year.
Yeah, and you look at both of them, they have two very different styles. Dante Bell is a transfer out of East LA. He has more experience at the quarterbacking position. But when you look at it, Hunter Herrera is more of that athlete. He's the guy who's going to push it outside the hash marks, but it's Dante Bell who gets the start.
So here we go, first possession of the game. Mount SAC's got the ball on the 25-yard line. First snap of the game is handed off. That's going to be Aiden Ramos, who we mentioned earlier, had a great season for Mount SAC. Takes that handoff and loses a yard.
And that's Jack with the tackle, Jack Knudsen, who makes the stop, one of the all-conference performers for the Bobcats.
Aiden Ramos comes into this game averaging over 90 yards per game. He's got 18 touchdowns on the season. Man in motion, there's the snap. Play action pass completed out to the outside. That was Damari Wiggins with the reception.
Jacob Sekioba was the one who ends up technically getting the stop there. He's going to be a very active guy on the outside, defensive backing-wise for Saddleback, because you have 4 different receivers who can go up and get the football.
So that brings up a 3rd down and 7, and Saddleback would love to get a 3-and-out here on this very first possession. Herrera's got 3 wide receivers. Takes the snap and drops back to pass. He's looking downfield. He's going to dump it off to his halfback, Ramos, out of the backfield, and Saddleback swarms on him, and nothing really there for him. And it's going to be a 3-and-out for Mount SAC on their first possession.
Brian Lucas Short was there first. Eamon Carter was also there. Played them well. They didn't get flustered when they saw the fast receiver move down the field on the sideline.
And see, here's the other key, Corey. Jack Matrenga also is there, making sure that the angle is towards the boundary. So he pushes him in to those other defensive backs.
So Roman Harden back to receive this punt. And it is blocked. The ball is still on the ground. And the Bobcats come up with it. And they're going to take over 1st and goal on the 9-yard line after a block. There is a Bobcat down on the ground. We take a look at the replay.
And that's Jacob Sekioba, who comes in and blocks it, almost has an opportunity to pick it up on the rebound and put it in, but Max Krosky falls on it for 1st down for your Bobcats.
for Sekioba, that's big too. He's able to beat the guy on the outside. And once he comes up to it, Corey, the other thing that's huge is that he makes sure that he gets his positioning right to get his chest onto that ball, not just reaching out with his hands.
Now, Ryan, you and I have called a number of games this year, and I can't tell you how many times I've said this year, the game couldn't have started any better for the Bobcats. Like, this is the perfect opening for them.
It is, but you have a little bit of concern here with the guy who gets hurt. That's Noah Luganbill, who's usually the starting strong safety for them.
Defensive Player of the Year, Noah Luganbill.
So Tyler Dudden leads the team out onto the field. It's going to be Darian Campbell in the backfield with him. There's the handoff to Campbell. He goes around the right side and in for a touchdown. One play, one score. Saddleback has taken the lead.
And guys, what a luxury it is when Kayvon Clark has been the guy all season long, and Darian Campbell, who's an all-conference from last season, says, you know what, I got the second half of the year. You can come in on the playoffs. One carry, like you said, Matt, one score.
What's interesting about that, too, is that we've seen a lot of Darian Campbell inside the 15, and Kayvon Clark's the one who is going to start off drives. Campbell's the one who finishes them.
Extra point is up and good, and the Bobcats take a 7-0 lead less than 2 minutes into this game.
And we didn't even get to mention Gabriel Alvarado at the right tackle who cleared the lane. I mean, he just cleared and set the edge for 5 yards.
Let's take a look at the replay. Darian Campbell out to the right side, and as Corey said, just the path is cleared for him, and he waltzes into the end zone, no one within a couple of yards of him.
So taking a look at the stats from the entirety of the season. In the first quarter for Saddleback, 121 points to 41. They have outscored their opponent by 80 points in the first 15 minutes of play. If you take that to the first 10 minutes of play, you're looking at an over 90 differential. If you take it to the first 5 minutes of play, they're at plus 41. So you look at Saddleback, they have had explosive starts. It's what we saw against El Camino. It's what we saw against Chaffee. And now they've done it again here against Mount Sac.
So here comes the kickoff. Saddleback leads by a touchdown. This one's going to go through the end zone for a touchback.
And guys, while Mount Sac comes on the field, let's get their offensive line. Rudy Montalvan, Micah Matalau, Mike McDowell, John Rodriguez, and Harrywan Malale. And Montalvan, the left guard, Matalau, the right tackle, McDowell, the right guard, John Rodriguez is the center, and Harrywan is the left tackle.
So it's going to be Dante Bell taking over at quarterback after Hunter Herrera took the first snaps. Dante Bell's got 4 wide receivers. Drops back to pass, lets this one go. It is complete to the outside. And no room to move there. Bronzeman Davis with the reception.
Matt, Corey, you look back at last week and you end up having 2 different receptions for touchdowns that go for over 25 yards off a broken tackle. Saddleback has to make sure that just like there, they need to wrap up on the first opportunity.
So it brings up a 2nd down and 6. There's a snap and a swing pass out to the outside. That is complete and up for a 1st down.
That's going to be Jordan Harris. He's one of the team's leading receivers and return people, but he's going to play big with Damari Wiggins. He's known for all-purpose Harris, and then you got Anderson, the team's leading receiver.
That's first down of the day for Mount Sac. Dante Bell, 4 wide receivers, drops back to pass, lets this one go, and it bounces. One hops it. He was looking for Bronzeman Davis again, but that pass didn't quite make it out there, and it's going to be incomplete and bring up a 2nd down and 10.
And guys, in is Cohen Ollie for Luganbill at that safety position. Roman Harden and also all-conference. Carter on the near side. And is that Sekioba on the far side? No, that is.
It's going to be Lucas Short.
Lots of pressure, able to get this one away and complete. That was Damari Wiggins with the reception. Short gain on that play. Pick up about 3. Going to bring up a 3rd down and long. 3rd down and about 7.5.
And Ron, you mentioned Knudsen previously making a tackle to play the angle, and that time he allowed Schmaltz to come in and clean it up.
So once again, a big 3rd down. Dante Bell drops back to pass. He's looking downfield, gets this one away, and it's complete out to midfield. And a 1st down. Damari Wiggins with his 3rd reception of the game.
Corey, that's just a receiver who gets past the linebackers, makes his cut on the left-hand side, and presents himself. He's not trying to get upfield too much as he is just find a pocket of open space and give your hands to the quarterback.
Dante Bell turns and hands this one to Ramos, and Ramos around the outside, and a nice pickup for Ramos. Brought that down to about the 32-yard line, a pickup of 18 on the play.
Mount Sac averages 6'3", 310 across that offensive line, and they cleared the left side spectacularly. We'll get a scoring update in just a second, Matt.
So Mount Sac driving deep into Saddleback territory, trying to get on the board after giving up that early touchdown. Dante Bell taking over at quarterback on this 2nd drive after it was Hunter Herrera to start the game. Bell drops back to pass, gets some pressure, and he's got a lot of room to the outside, makes a move and dives forward. A flag comes out at the end. It was a pickup of 6 maybe, but we'll see what that flag is.
And again, that scoring update was Golden West now 21 and Ventura 14.
Illegal shift, going to bring that back 5 yards, and we'll start with another 1st down, this time with 15 to go. And that Golden West Ventura game, remember, the winner of that game plays the winner of this game for the right to go on to the state championship.
And with their one high safety, watch the seams for Mount Sac to exploit.
Bell fakes the handoff. He's going deep. And a lot of contact there, but there is no flag. He was looking for Devin Anderson.
And what you love about that play, no, that was not pass interference, because Roman Harden, when he went up, turned back, put his right arm up to see the ball, or peripherally see the ball. Other people want PI. That's just good defense.
So Coach Fisher mentioned Devin Anderson to me on the field before this game, said that's one of the guys that they need to contain. And good defense by Roman Harden there, keeping Devin Anderson from making a big play. Brings up a 2nd down and 15. Bell, lots of pressure, gets this one away, complete on the screen pass. Good tackle to bring down Ramos.
And Corey, you saw that play develop. Did it look like to you as well that looked like it was supposed to go towards the 20? When the guy is covered, that's where you shovel it forward.
Yeah, and it should have gone up the hash marks, but again, good defense forces him outside, allows Dunklin to come up and fill and make another short tackle.
That sets up a 3rd down and 11. Bell takes the snap. A little bit of pressure, gets this one away. Good defense, knocked away at the last moment, but there is a flag. He was looking for Bronzeman Davis, but a flag comes out.
And he had his left arm wrapped around his waist right before he got there. The Roman Harden one was more of a PI than that one. Now, it looked like they got there at the same time, but, you know.
That was Dunklin they called for the pass interference.
A little Maybelline on that one.
So that's going to bring up a 1st down now for Mount Sac. Penalties definitely have been an issue for this Saddleback team this year, and they gave up a 1st down right there on what would have been 4th down. Turn and hands it off to Ramos. Ramos up the middle, pickup of 1. Not much there for Ramos.
Again, Ryan, I've heard you mention Gonzalez's name a lot during the season. Second team all-conference, comes up and very athletic. And guys, has Saddleback changed up their defense from a 3-3 to a 4-2, or do they normally run this 4-2?
You know what? Usually we end up seeing just the 2 linebackers as we usually do right now. Knudsen and Gonzalez are the ones who control things.
Bell drops back to pass, gets this one off, and it is complete. And that's Damari Wiggins again.
Jaden Humphrey with the stop. Gonzalez is there as well. But you see Dante Bell throwing the ball nice. I mean, that was a laser, and he hasn't looked this sharp in a few games.
So Damari Wiggins had 17 catches on the season, has 4 in the first 7 minutes of this game. There's the handoff to Ramos. Ramos up to the 2-yard line. Going to bring up a first down and goal.
Great misdirection as you saw that. Harrywan came and pulled on that right side. Excuse me, not Harrywan. That was the left guard, Montavon, who pulled on the misdirection to lead the way.
So first down and goal on the 1-yard line. There's the handoff to Ramos. Fighting his way forward. Falls forward. No signal yet. And it's a touchdown. Aiden Ramos with his 18th touchdown of the season. And Mount Sac is an extra point away from tying this game up.
And Matt Ryan, that was a good counter, good drive that they needed after that quick touchdown for Saddleback. They've just proven that we can hang, and we're as sharp as we were in the beginning of last week's game against El Camino.
And that's one thing that we have not seen the last half of this season. When Saddleback punches, we have not seen teams punching back. And Mount Sac just punched back.
Yeah, and you have to go back. I believe it was the Chaffee game. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Matt, where we saw each team score on their first 2 possessions, and then after that, Saddleback just kind of outran them. When you look at these 2 offenses, they can both get themselves into the end zone, and that was no more apparent than last week for Mount Sac against El Camino. You put up 42 points on El Camino, and you are able to show that your offense can work and can beat teams like El Camino and Ventura as well.
But what happened was they were in control of that game in the first half and let El Camino back. They've done that a few times. Their loss against Citrus was exactly that. They were ahead, they were in the lead, and Citrus came back on them. Their lapses in focus sometimes have gotten them in trouble this season.
And that Citrus game is one of 3 common opponents these 2 teams have. Mount Sac was 2-1 again in those games against Citrus, San Diego Mesa, and El Camino. Saddleback swept those 3 games. Kickoff is taken at about the 10-yard line, brought out past the 25 to around the 27-yard line. And that's where the Saddleback offense will take over.
Some of those defensive guys you'll see for Mount Sac, Jaden Murrieta up front for the Mounties. Kirakiti Malale, brother of the offensive lineman Harrywan, also out there on that front line. DeAndre Coleman, the linebacker wearing number 0 in white, is a guy who was a defensive player of the year.
So Tyler Dudden leads the offense back out there. He's got Kayvon Clark in the backfield to start this drive. Joseph Walter goes in motion, and there's a Mount Sac player on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
I think going to be a false start. Oh. I thought they were going to get Francisco Martinez with the jump.
They call Michael Young there for jumping off sides. And that'll bring up a 1st and 5. Excuse me. Tyler Dudden's got 3 wide receivers, going to hand this ball off to Kayvon Clark. Clark around the right side, makes a couple men miss, keeps pushing and fights his way towards the marker, and looks like he got that first down. Pick up a 5 for Kayvon Clark on his first carry of the game.
And Ryan, you've seen Kayvon Clark run all year. He went for 90 yards against El Camino. What makes him special?
What makes him special is the way that he keeps churning his legs even once the defender is draped on him. He gets extra yardage, usually 3, 4, 5 extra yards after that first defender makes contact.
There's the handoff to Clark. Spins out of 1 tackle, but he's not going to get out of a second one. And he's brought down for a loss of 1.
Blake Thompson was in there to make first contact. He spun off of him, but Kirikiti makes the stop.
Tyler Dudden with 3 wide to his left side, and there goes Martinez in motion. Dudden's going to drop back to pass, and lots of pressure, nearly slips, keeps his feet, fights his way forward, and picks up a couple of yards on what looked like a little, possibly a broken play there. Tyler Dudden lost his footing, but able to pick up 3.
That was the best possible outcome for that play.
So that's going to bring up a 3rd down and 7 for the Bobcats. Dudden's got 4 wide receivers. He's got Kayvon Clark in the backfield with him. There's a snap, barely got it off. Play clock ran all the way down, looking for Martinez, and lots of contact. Flags go flying.
You like Gavin Stewart, who's just saying, how could you call me for pulling his jersey like that?
So just a fistful of Francisco Martinez jersey. And you got to give Stewart credit. Like, if he did not interfere there, that could have been a touchdown.
Well, Matt, how often have we seen Francisco take that exact same route and take it right to the house? We saw it twice in the last 3 weeks.
So that brings up a 1st down and 10 at the Mount SAC 45. There's the handoff to Clark. Clark goes up the middle.
First down saving tackle by Tayandre Coleman. Again, the defensive player of the year in the National Northern League. The offensive player of the year, as you mentioned, was Aiden Ramos. 3 very good backs, 3 of the best in the SCFA that you're going to be watching here today.
Pick up a 5 there for Kayvon Clark. Walter goes in motion. Dudden takes the snap. And he's looking for Walter, who is wide open and just overthrown. Joseph Walter had 2 steps on his defender, but that pass just sailed a little bit on Tyler Dudden and goes incomplete.
He had Childress by 3 steps, Matt. You're absolutely right. Walter was bringing in for a deep post pattern. Dudden was throwing for a corner pattern, and that was 6 missed.
Brings up a 3rd down and 5 for Saddleback. Dudden takes the snap, hands it off to Clark. Clark looking for a hole, bounces off of a man, and he's got it. He's out around the outside to the 20, the 15, the 10. Did he make it? No. Stepped out of bounds on the 3-yard line. Kayvon Clark. And that right there, Corey, is what you were talking about. What makes this guy so special? He just does not go down the first time he's hit.
And you see him weaving through traffic on this right-hand side. Look at this initial cut. He moves it off to the right, gets away from the would-be tackler, but that edge is set perfectly on the far side. I couldn't tell if that was Nico Lopez.
Yeah, and it should have been a blindside block. Max Krosky.
So that brings up a 1st and goal There's the handoff to Clark, who's going up the middle. Clark brings it up to the 1 yard line, going to bring up a 2nd and goal.
Let me say that again. Could have been a blindside block. But again, benefits the Bobcats.
Dudden hands it off to Clark. Clark dives forward, touchdown! So Saddleback answers immediately after the Mount Sac touchdown. They come straight down the field and score and have retaken the lead.
So the 9th touchdown score for Kayvon this season. Came into this ball game with 842 yards rushing.
Maganda on to add the extra point. It is up, it is good, and it is 14-7. Saddleback leads this game.
If I'm not mistaken, guys, that should be the 3rd straight home game for Saddleback where they score on their opening 2 possessions offensively. Again, we talk about this offense and how it can move. Nicky Johnson has shown that he can get this offense up the field. But now you look at a guy like Tyler Dudden. Go back to that 3rd down play, or excuse me, that 2nd down play, Corey, where it looks like he's going to be dropped for a minus 10 yards. He goes right into the line of scrimmage and picks up 4 and extends the drive.
3 yards is a big difference between that 10-yard loss. And again, it's what he's done all season long. He's more elusive and quicker than you. You look at him, you think, oh, tall, lanky guy, not athletic. But you get him on the corner, you get him in situations like that, and he's making things happen.
So here comes our kickoff with the score 14-7, Saddleback leading. This one's going to go into the end zone and through the end zone for a touchback.
And Ryan, you saw something that Noah Luganbill is probably not going to be back this ball game. And Matt, what type of how do they make up for the defensive player of the year, the heartbeat of your team, not going to be playing for the rest of the ball game?
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. I mean, you know, the games that we have called this year, we say Noah Luganbill's name over and over and over again. He is one of the guys who has returned a interception for a touchdown, and he's just disruptive in the secondary, and it's going to be hard to make up what Noah Luganbill brings to this defense. It's still Bell in there. He gets that pass off, and it is incomplete.
Bronzeman Davis drops it, and again, you see that one-on-one coverage on the outside, and Lucas Short had good coverage for 3 seconds. Problem is, that 5 seconds he had time to throw, lucky he dropped.
And it looked like Bronzeman Davis had his eyes upfield, did not bring that one all the way in. 2nd down and 10. Handoff up the middle. Nice run by Ramos. Devin Turner, I'm sorry.
On the near side of the defense, Corey, you see Ollie, who's coming off of that edge, and he gets into the backfield quickly. But the issue is he doesn't have someone to his right, so he's able to prevent the bounce towards the outside. But once that cut goes back towards the middle, there's no one there to help.
Brings up a 3rd and 2 for the Mounties. There's the handoff into the middle of the defense, and a 1st down and pickup of 3 there.
And Ryan, have you seen a team more than Saddleback blitz their safeties and corners?
No, not the same amount that we've seen from Saddleback this season. Very aggressive bunch, especially when you look at Gonzalez and he sets himself and then comes around that left-hand side. It's real dangerous in terms of getting to the quarterback.
So Devin Turner with the 1st down there, and quite a luxury for Mount Sac. They have, you know, Aiden Ramos, who's, like I said, been living in the end zone. And then he comes out and they got Devin Turner, a guy who averages over 7 yards per carry, as his backup. There's a snap. Bell looked like he was going to release that one, but didn't have an open receiver. He's going to scramble and pick up 2 yards and run out of bounds.
That's why Carter is a first-team all-conference performer, because he was going to jump the route and get a pick. Bell says, go deep. He says, no, you're not. I'm going to stall you here. And he forces him out of bounds. 3 plays in 1.
Second down and 9 for the Mounties. There's the snap and the handoff. Nice tackle made, holding Devin Turner to pick up of maybe 1 there.
Ryan, you see Desert Vista. Their nickname is the Thunder, and Jaden Humphrey, excuse me, guys, brought the Thunder on that tackle very quickly.
Brings up a 3rd down and 8. Bell drop back to pass. Lots of pressure, rolls away from it, heaves this one up. That ball was caught but out of bounds. Excellent job by Damari Wiggins to come up with that ball, but unable to get his feet down.
Corey, you know what that looked like when you're playing football with your friends in the backyard and you have that all-time safety? Wiggins goes out behind the defensive backs and then comes back for that football once he gets a read on it. Yes, he's out of bounds, but he prevents 2 other guys from getting the football.
And Ed, thank you for that replay because I thought he was in bounds for a minute.
So Roman Harden back to get this kick.
Nicholas Lane kicking it for the Mounties.
And it takes a nice Mount Sac bounce and rolls to a stop at the 14-yard line.
Down inside the 15. That's where the Cats will take it over 50.
So 47 yards on the kick.
Mounties 7.
So we got 54 seconds left here in the first quarter. Coming to you live on SportsNetUSA.net, the Saddleback Bobcats with a 14-7 lead over the Mounties of Mount Sac. Dudden's got Darian Campbell in the backfield with him. He's got 4 wide receivers. Dudden drops back to pass, gets this one away, complete to Campbell. He's got a lot of blockers in front of him. Makes a move out across the 40. He's going to go across midfield, and a big pickup on the screen pass to Darian Campbell as the Bobcats move across midfield.
And if he doesn't stumble, he's scoring. Dakota Mendoza makes the tackle. He was first team all-conference. But Campbell, he's also out of Arizona. All 3 of their top 3 running backs from the state of Arizona.
And that's the first completion of the game for Tyler Dudden. There's the handoff to Darian Campbell. Darian Campbell can't find any room on the right side, turns back to the left side, shakes a tackle. He's still not down, and finally brought down after a pickup of 6.
And 2 straight times, Corey, Tiandre Coleman has the initial beat on him. The first time on the big run, he ends up getting blocked at the 40-yard line. In this case, you see Campbell just continue to fight, keep his eyes upfield, and see what his options are. He goes right at the defender, makes the linebacker commit, and then he bounces out to an open lane.
Best part about that play, leading the charge on the cutback, Tyler Dudden throwing a block on a defensive lineman.
So the clock runs down to 000. We are through 1 quarter here on SportsNetUSA.net. The hometown Saddleback Bobcats lead this game by a score of 14-7 over the Mounties of Mount Sac.
And here on SportsNetUSA.net, don't forget that you can watch plenty of community college sports, including a big-time soccer matchup coming up later tonight. If I'm not mistaken, that's a 7 p.m. start. That will be right here on SportsNetUSA.net. One of the best teams in the country, Saddleback, is going to be right here on SportsNetUSA.net. Playing soccer again, that is at 7 p.m. Mark Pavlovich is going to have the call over to my left at that time. So you can stay not only with just soccer, but we have plenty of community college sports across all of Southern California. That's all right here on SportsNetUSA.net. So stay with the homepage. Also check out our YouTube page where you can continue to see all the different opportunities to see the next level of future of athletics right here on SportsNetUSA.net.
So I talked to Coach Fisher before this game, and I mentioned to him that this Mount Sac defense has a pretty good run defense, and that Saddleback, they're a running team. And I asked him, what are you going to do? And he said, we're just going to go right at him. He said, we're going to go strength for strength. We're going to come at him running. And they ran for 69 yards there in the first quarter. So the running game is doing what Coach Fisher is looking for. Tyler Dudden drops back to pass. He's going downfield. He's got Francisco Martinez. Lots of traffic. Underthrew him. Francisco Martinez had a step there, but the pass underthrown by Tyler Dutton, and it falls incomplete.
And if he doesn't pirouette, he's got a touchdown. I mean, he was trying to make something fancy out of, well, easy.
He was trying to go over the back or over the shoulder on that catch, and it hits him in the back of the helmet. Both defensive backs undercut where that football was, reached up and didn't get contact with the football.
That brings up a 3rd and 3. Dutton takes the snap, hands it off to Darian Campbell. Campbell goes up the middle, bounces off a tackler. He's close to the first down, but I don't think he got it. It's going to bring up a 4th down and 1. And if we know anything about Coach Fisher, I don't see the punt team coming out here on this 4th and 1.
You guys, real quick, scoring updates at halftime. San Mateo up 13-6 over Fresno City. Halftime down the street, Golden West over Ventura 21-14. 7-0 Modesto over Diablo Valley in the second quarter of play. Go teams.
So it's a 4th down and 1. Darian Campbell comes off the field. Jalen Beverly rushing takes his place on 4th down. Tyler Dutton possibly trying to just draw them off sides. No, there's the snap. Hand off to Beverly Rushing, and Beverly Rushing goes up the middle, fights his way forward, and a nice pickup up to the 31-yard line, and a new set of downs for the Bobcats.
You know, Arizona doesn't play community college football anymore. So what do? You get 3 of the best backs coming out of Arizona. Come on down to beautiful Orange County, and let's lead some teams in rushing.
So Beverly Rushing gets the first down. 1st and 10 on the 31-yard line. Dutton drops back to pass. Looking to the outside, complete to Walter. Walter goes down right there. Pickup of 8 on the completion to Joseph Walter.
And that offensive line is led by Ryan Carby, who is a first-team all-conference majoring in kinesiology. Talani Aano, Greg Shade was second team, Nicholas Brown first team, and Tyrone Portis and Gabriel Alvarado shifting the duties at right tackle.
2nd down and 2. Dutton going to pass again, gets this one off once again looking for Walter, and through Walter's hands and incomplete, brings up a 3rd and 2.
And in this case, Corey, kind of going back to what you were saying with Martinez earlier, if that ball is placed directly in front of him, he's got 6.
And you know, we just mentioned the offensive line. Just realize all the people are not in the positions I just said. That's the versatility that the Bobcats have.
3rd down and 2. Dutton's got Beverly Rushing in the backfield with him. There's the snap. There's the handoff to Beverly Rushing. Avoids one tackle, but not able to avoid the second one, and Beverly Rushing goes nowhere. And that's going to bring up a 4th down and a long 2. And once again, Coach Fisher not even thinking about sending his kicking team out there.
And good aggression by Michael Young for the Mounties.
Would be a 41-yard field goal from here, which is pushing Maganda's long distance. It's Beverly Rushing in the backfield. Dutton's got 3 wide receivers. There's the snap. There's the handoff to Beverly Rushing. He's got himself a hole, bounces off a tackler, spins and finds his way inside the 20-yard line to the 16, and once again a new set of downs for the Saddleback Bobcats.
And again, he carries Michael Young, Dakota Mendoza to that first down. And Ryan, you see a play like that on the outside. He stopped just short of the first down marker, but carries on.
Yeah, and you look at the holes that you were talking about with the offensive line, what they have been able to do in terms of carving out lanes. You look at the last 2 times that they have converted on 4th down in this game, it's been 3 or 4 yards before a defensive player has an opportunity to make a tackle.
So Darian Campbell back into the backfield. There's the snap. Dutton drops back to pass. Was looking for Walter, gets that one away, and I think that was Nico Lopez. Oh, Gage Galbraith, the other tight end. Gage Galbraith missed the last couple of games, but he is back. Coach Fisher told me this team is mostly healthy after getting that 2 weeks off since the last time they played.
Second down and 8.
Pickup of 2 on that play brings up a second down and 8. Dudden takes the snap, hands this one off to Campbell. Campbell goes up the middle, bounces off a tackler, keeps fighting. Touchdown, Darian Campbell. His second of the game.
My goodness.
And that has just been the way this running attack has worked for Saddleback all year long. You don't take them down with that first hit. It's going to take 2-3 hits before these guys are brought down. And Darian Campbell just bullied his way into the end zone and a 2-score lead for the Bobcats. Maganda's kick is up and it's good. 21-7. Saddleback leads.
So the sophomore from Glendale, Arizona, Matt, you just mentioned bullied is a perfect word for that because it's one of those things that he should have been tackled. He doesn't look that strong from up here, does he?
He doesn't, but I mean, he is
6'1", 215.
He's a strong runner.
And he showed that 6'1", 215 already. And what do you say they had rushing in the first half? 69 yards, 70
They had
yards?
69 yards in the first quarter. That total is up to they just hit 100 yards.
Ryan and I were talking earlier in the week about the offensive line and how you said at Saddleback they run like 4 or 5 subs in and out, 9 offensive linemen through the game, and Mount Sac doesn't run any.
No, it's the same exact 5 that they end up running through the entire time. And it's unfortunate, too, because they actually lost one of their starting offensive linemen at left guard last week in the El Camino matchup. But, again, this is a offense that just rolls with their 5.
There's the kickoff taken in about the 8-yard line, brought out across the 20, across the 30, and a nice run back, pushed out of bounds at about the 38-yard line, and that's where Mount Sac will take over, trailing this game by 2 scores. And things getting a little bit testy over there on the sidelines.
Matt, were you the one that caused the scrum earlier? Before the game, they explained pleasantries at the 50-yard line. That was Tamario Walter who knocked out Jordan Harris.
Yeah, there's no love lost between these two teams, and a very high-stakes game.
You and I saw it, Matt, against the El Camino, or in the El Camino matchup. In warm-ups, both teams started barking at each other, started, like Corey mentioned, exchanging pleasantries, and it kind of turned out in Saddleback's favor in that first quarter.
So Dante Bell leads his team back out there. He's going to put this one up. Lots of contact, and a flag comes out. He was looking for
Bell's pass incomplete.
And that was looking for Harris again.
Harris.
Dominic Lopez. Yeah, Dominic Lopez hand fighting with Harris. He gets the call. Do you mind a call like that?
Personally, I don't mind it at all because in that case, he prevents him from breaking out into his route. I think you can have hand fighting, you can have hand checking, but once you prevent someone from actually getting into your route, then that's where I think it's okay to throw the flag.
So a first down from Mount Sac as they cross midfield. Bell going to sling this one to the outside. That pass is caught.
And Corey, if Bell's going to go towards those quick outs, just like he is there, he's got to do that with no hesitation. Just a few moments ago, he was very lucky that that wasn't picked off because the defensive back was all over top of that as they were trying to get that outside the hash mark.
That was Elijah Cook on the reception there. Second down and 5. Bell gets this one off again. Basically the same play. Elijah Cook once again in a first down.
And Brandon Ross makes the tackle, but he's going to have to be careful because that's a setup play. Those 2 exact plays are setting up for a pump fake and go. Jacob Sekioba is the safety wearing number 7 out there on that side. If they try to test it again, he's got to be doubly aware.
So first and 10 for Mount Sac. They're on the Saddleback 35-yard line. Lots of pressure. Bell able to get away from the first man, but not the second, and down he goes.
And it's right back to Jacob Sekioba. He gets into the backfield, goes around the left tackle, and is able to force Bell to go back into where the pressure is.
Gavin Bloom, 4.5 sacks now on the tackle. And again, it goes back to what you said. You haven't seen a team blitz this much from the secondary all season. It's been a long time.
6-yard loss on the sack, and it's a 2nd down and 16. Bell drops back to pass. Lots of pressure, and he goes down again.
That's Roman Harden this time, who's in the backfield. So we keep talking about it. It doesn't matter if it's the left side or the right side. The secondary for Saddleback continues to get into the backfield.
Roman Harden was second team all-conference in the National Southern Division League Conference affiliation. Gets the sack there, his first of the season.
Brings up a 3rd down and long. It's 23 yards to go. Bell drops back to pass. Pressure once again. Gets this one away. Nobody out there, and an easy interception. Picked off by Sekioba. He's going to bring this one back past the 30, across the 35-yard line, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 37.
And Sekioba has been a star in this one so far. There's a little bit of extracurriculars after the play is over, but Sekioba, to this point, he's got a punt block. He's also got this interception. He has a sack as well. Look at this. He just goes back, makes sure he's under it. He knows that all the receivers are in front of him. So by the time that he ends up getting to that football, he doesn't have to worry about fighting for it with someone else. Takes it on the near side hash mark, goes out towards the sideline, and he's able to bring it back for over 35-yard return.
It kind of felt there like the mindset from Mount Sac was, let's just throw it up there. Worst thing that happens is they intercept it, and it's like a punt. But I don't think they were counting on the return. But there is a holding penalty on the return.
And it's actually going to be prior to the pass. So it is no interception. It negates it, and it gives a 1st down right back to Mount Sac.
On what was a 3rd down and 23. Huge penalty there.
We watched the replay, and that holding, I'm not sure where it was, how far away from the ball it was. It was just,
There's the handoff up the middle as Damian Smith on the carry. Pickup of 3.
You know, Corey, I was trying to think of the last time I saw someone blitz this much with a secondary.
I still didn't see it on the replay.
I think the last time that I remember it is, remember the Golden West secondary with Ryan Raines in it?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the last time that I saw this much pressure from a secondary.
Okay.
Was that Lucas Short they called the hold on?
We think so.
That pass is complete.
Yeah,
First down went to Sherrard R.J. Willis.
Ed showed the replay one more time, and we're still trying to find out where it was or what could it have been. Anyway, keeps the Mounties' hopes alive.
1st and 10 for Mount Sac. They're on the 23-yard line. There's the handoff to Damian Smith out to the right side. Pickup of a couple.
That's going to be a flag easily done or easily called on the back side of that. In fact, that should go against Iosefa Tepeni, wiping out a guy from behind the play, and that was Conrad Tuffy, who ends up getting taken to the ground from behind.
It's a good football name.
Conrad Tuffy.
Personal foul, defense number 55. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
So, Corey, what you want to watch for here, and what I noticed in the last matchup against El Camino, Tuffy is going to line up on the right side of the offensive line. He's going to go 5 yards up, go towards the post, and they had a lot of success against Ventura and El Camino on that same play.
Yeah, he's got 9 catches this season. 5 came last week against El Camino.
So it's going to be a 1st down and 10 on the 11-yard line. They can still get a 1st down at the 1.
They mark it at the 10.
Dante Bell turns and hands it off, but there is whistles and flags.
False start, offense, number 1, 5-yard penalty.
False start going to back them up a little bit.
And if you're a Bobcat fan, guys, you're going to have to say defense, refocus, let's reload and get back into it. We can turn them over again. If you're Mount Sac, you're realizing we have to score a touchdown.
First and goal from the 15 now for the Mounties.
1st down. There's the snap. Bell looking towards the end zone, puts this one up, but that one carried a little bit too far and out of the end zone.
Pass is incomplete. Intended for Elijah Crook.
And again, the significance of the defensive changes and variety that they put out on the field, that was a play where the last couple times in that position, they came with an outside blitz rather from the safety or the corner. This time, they dropped them back, and instead of having single coverage on the outside, you had pretty much double coverage and a short cover, too.
Brings up a 2nd down and 15. There's the snap. Bell gets this one away, and Roman Harden nearly took that one. And if he had kept his feet and got his hands on that, there was no one going to stop him.
Actually, man, luckily for Mount Sac, it was a bad pass. Because if that's a perfect pass, you just mentioned, Roman Harden was gone for 6.
Lopez.
Oh, man.
Pass was intended for Harris.
Didn't you call a pick 6 earlier, Matt?
We've called 6 pick sixes this year.
Here at home.
For the, yeah. Second in the state on picks or defensive touchdowns behind Golden West.
3rd down and 15. Bell drops back to pass, gets this one away, finds his man complete, pushed out of bounds at around the 2-yard line.
Pass is complete.
They're
That
going
was
to
R.J. Willis,
They're going to say
and they said he went all the way in.
It's an interesting one because you're going to see Willis get it about the 5-yard line or so. And by the time that he ends up going towards the pylon, he's working against 2 different defensive backs. And it looks like he gets across the plane, and it is indeed a touchdown upon review. And by upon review, we mean by us.
So, I don't know. It looked to me like he stepped out of bounds around the 3-yard line. Kick is up, and it is good.
Much needed score for the Mounties. Much needed score because now they still got that confidence that with 5:52 to play in the 2nd quarter that we're still in the ball game. If our defense comes up and makes a play, we can tie it before we get into halftime.
And the other thing is, too, Corey, you go back to that drive for the Mounties. Now you look at that defensive hold that takes place on the Sekioba interception, and it turns into a 7-point swing, essentially.
Yeah, and plus, Albert just mentioned Saddleback does get the ball to start the second half as well. So if they can get a score here, whether a field goal or a touchdown, and start the second half off right, you're looking at good things.
That was a huge holding penalty, though. Kept Mount Sac in this game. Kickoff going to be taken around the 1-yard line, out across the 20-yard line, past the 25 to the 30. Still on his feet, out across the 40, and a flag comes in late.
In on the tackle, Elijah Crook.
It was Roman Harden on the return.
So 40 yards on the return, back it up 10.
During the return, holding on the return to number 15.
So, Ryan, you and I have witnessed penalties be an issue all season long for the Bobcats. That is now 5 penalties for 59 yards here in the first half.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, they're close to 1,000 yards in total penalties this season, which is difficult too, because you're going against a Mount Sac team that so far this season hasn't really been penalized all too much, or at least if you're comparing them to Saddleback. 69 penalties for 678 yards comparatively for Mount Sac this season.
Yeah, there's only 5 teams in the state with fewer penalties this year than the Mounties have. So it's going to be Tyler Dudden with Kayvon Clark in the backfield, trying to get a score before the end of the half, and another flag. And it's going to be a delay of game on Tyler Dudden.
So it'll be important here for the Bobcats not to press. 1st and 15, 2 straight penalties. Just run your offense to get back in and really run what they say, a 4-minute offense in these last 5 minutes and 44 seconds.
Watch for Tiandre Coleman and Najee Richardson on the outside. Either linebacker has been real good at pressure the last 3 weeks.
There's a snap and the handoff to Kayvon Clark. He's going to go out to the right side, and not much there. Brought down at the line of scrimmage. Brings up a 2nd down and 15.
And Ryan, you mentioned Tiandre Coleman, who forced it back on the inside for Dakota Mendoza to clean it up. Mendoza, again, a 2nd-team all-conference from Fontana, Rancho Cucamonga High School. Same high school as Tyler Dudden.
Dudden takes the snap. He's got 4 wide receivers. He drops back to pass. Going to roll out to his right side and just dump this one outside out of the out. He dumped that one off. I can't say it. He dumped it off.
Yeah, there was nowhere to
with
go
no
to.
one there.
Yeah, no one to go to. Nobody en route, Matt. I mean, it's one of those play. It felt like a throwaway play.
Yeah. Rolled to his outside, couldn't find anyone. Out of bounds was what I was looking for there. Out of bounds. Brings up a 3rd down and 15. Huge play here for Mount Sac. If they can get a turnover on downs and get the ball right back, Tyler Dudden gets this one away. Nothing there. And a quick 3 and out for Saddleback. And we might have seen a momentum shift in this game.
And again, Kerry Kitty, another pressure, doing well. Jaden Murrieta up front, taking up 2 offensive linemen. But again, the route combination on that play wasn't to anybody's really significant liking.
So the Mounties going to get this ball back and probably get it in pretty decent field position. A good bounce, but fielded at the 35, out across the 40, across midfield. And Mount Sac going to take over possession inside Saddleback territory, trailing only by 7 points.
And this is what they did against Ventura, although in the second half they stayed in the ball game in striking distance. And it's important for them to stay in striking distance because you saw they won pretty much on the last play against Ventura a couple weeks ago. And they have a knack, even though they had 2 forfeits this season, they've got a knack for staying in there and winning those ball games except against Citrus.
Yeah, you look at the scores of the games that Mount Sac has played this year, and they're not blowing teams out. They're 1-score games that they're winning. They just end up coming out on top of those games. Bell looking downfield. He's got a man complete out to about the 31-yard line. Was Jordan Harris.
It's a good route there, Corey, by Harris. He's able to get up to his defender, go right off his left hip, and then just find some open space in between the hash mark.
1st down and 10 for Mount Sac. Bell takes a snap, gets this one away, complete.
There's Tuffley. But again, what they've been doing well is it took them a quarter and a half to realize the seams and hash marks is where we need to make our hay because that single high safety most of the time as they're blitzing opens up a lane or two.
Tight end Conrad toughly with the reception there for a pickup of 4. Bell gets this one away, incomplete.
Pass is incomplete.
He's looking for Jordan Harris again.
Intended for Harris.
Brings up a 3rd down and 6.
Third and 6 now for the Mounties.
Dante Bell's got 3 wide receivers. He's got Aiden Ramos in the backfield with him. Big 3rd down and 6 here. There's a snap. Bell drops back to pass. Looking over the middle. He's got a man and Tuffley unable to pull it in. Tuffley had the 1st down and much more if he would have pulled that one in, but could not grab it. And it brings up a 4th down.
Matt Corey for Tuffy. It's just taking a little peek over to your right shoulder to see what you have to work with. The eyes get big. You see all the green in front of you. And then you turn back around and go, oh, that's right, the football.
Yeah, he got used to scoring last week. I said, I got 2 last week. Let me get a couple more this week. And again, good for the Bobcats, bad for the Mounties.
So Mount Sac going to try a field goal here.
Long on the season is 44 yards for Younger Porter. And this will be should be from 44. So if you do math like the old guy on SportsNetUSA.net and Bobcat Football on SportsNetUSA.net, from the 34, you add 10, and then it'll be a 44-yard kick coming up. San Mateo guys up 20-13 over Fresno City in the 3rd. Ventura closes the gap a little, 21-17 now. They're down in the 3rd quarter with 5 minutes to play. Modesto 20, Diablo Valley 7 with 42 seconds to play in the 1st half.
You know, that's an interesting game, too, because that's someone or a team that Ed Ford mentioned to us would play real tough this upcoming weekend. And Modesto all season long has continually surprised a lot of people. Yes, Diablo Valley has looked very good, especially in their last 4 weeks of play. But Modesto not only playing them tough, but has continually decided that they're going to surprise people in the northern half of things.
And would you call that conference, their conference, the best conference in the state this year since they got 3 in the playoffs?
This season, yes.
So here we go. This is actually going to be a 43, not quite 44. There's the snap. The kick is up. It had the distance, but it is wide and no good. And Saddleback able to get off the field without giving up any points. I did want to point out, standing on the sidelines, I do see Noah Luganbill, and he is on crutches. So I think it's probably safe to say Luganbill will not be back for this game.
Yeah, and that's so tough. I mean, he's a sophomore, defensive player of the year, all conference both times. Both seasons, comes out of Clovis, and really just the difference maker all season long.
He's the type of guy, Corey, you were talking about it midweek. He doesn't wow you in terms of interception numbers, but where his impact is he's so good in space that they don't throw it to his side.
He's that guy that's like, who made that play? It's always that guy. Why is that guy always there?
So 3 minutes, 41 seconds left in the half. Saddleback going to try and get on the board before the end of the half. Remember, they get the ball to start the second half. Hand off to Darian Campbell. He picks up a yard, and that's it. Campbell never actually brought down there, but his forward progress was stopped.
Yeah, Coleman, Richardson, as well as Thompson, all in on the stop. Have we heard Gentilella's name?
We have not. Tyler Dutton only has 3 completions on this game. There's Joseph Walter with the reception and a 1st down. He's pushed out of bounds at the 39.
He was knocked out by Blake.
So Nicholas is working on the far side. He's working on Kanye Childress.
So first down and 10 on the Saddleback 38-yard line. Dudden gets this one off, and it is complete. Nico Lopez with the reception. Big play. You see pressure on Dudden. He gets this one off, and just a perfect pass drops in there to the hands of Nico Lopez.
He was all CIF at Santa Margarita High School.
There's the handoff to Campbell up the middle. He spins and picks up 3, maybe 4 yards on the play.
And guys, didn't Santa Margarita beat Centennial last night? They didn't catch the last of it, but they were up.
They did indeed. They had 4 touchdowns from 1 wide receiver. They had Johnson at quarterback had over 300 yards throwing and 4 touchdowns as well.
So it looks like we're going to run this one down to the 2-minute timeout. 2 minutes left in the first half. Saddleback leading Mount Sac by a score of 21-14 here on SportsNetUSA.net. I'm Matt Rogers along with Ryan Osborn and Corey Neyland for this playoff game to determine who moves on and faces the winner of Golden West and Ventura.
And Albert just mentioned that's Carson Palmer's the coach at Santa Margarita. You know what? I did not know that he went back.
Yeah, it's his first year coaching with them, and they end up winning a CIF title here in Southern California. They will play LaSalle next, or De La Salle next, from Northern California for the Open Championship.
Now, we will say, off topic real quick, Carson Palmer is a top 3 California, Orange County top high school player ever.
We're just talking high school career.
Just high school career. Just high school.
I see Ryan really thinking on that one.
Well, I'm thinking and trying to prevent recency bias in my head because I'm thinking, okay, Bryce Young ended up breaking a bunch of his records at Modern Day. Now, I don't think he had the better career, but the overall numbers were there. So I'm trying to think of a better example than recency bias.
So here we go, 2nd down and 6 from the Mount Sac 36-yard line. Dudden takes the snap, hands it off to Darian Campbell. There's a flag out. Campbell is brought down behind the line of scrimmage, a loss of 1, and a flag on the play.
Personal foul, illegal block below the waist. Offense. 15-yard penalty.
So an illegal block below the waist, going to be a big penalty. Instead of 2nd down and 6 on the Mount Sac 36-yard line, it's going to push them back into their own territory.
Now, is that a spot foul?
I believe so.
Okay, or is it just 15 yards?
It's just 15 yards.
Okay.
So 2nd down and 21 now. Dudden drops back to pass, gets some pressure. That ball's batted down at the line of scrimmage, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 21.
Danny To'oto knocked down. All right, guys, 3rd down and 21. You don't want to give Mount Sac the ball back. Are you just throwing it down to the 1st down marker, maybe get a pass interference call?
Yeah, you might as well try something here. Kind of like what Mount Sac did on that interception that was turned away on the holding call. Tyler Dudden looking for Martinez, crossing the field and threw that one behind him, and it's incomplete.
Would have been a tough catch there for Martinez too, Corey, because he had a linebacker that was teeing up on him. Coleman was in the vicinity, and he was ready to light him up as soon as he caught that.
So after that personal foul, Saddleback now 7 penalties for 79 yards here in the first half.
4th and 21 now. Schwartz on the kick for the Cats.
And they're going to punt this one away.
So Harris had a good return on the kickoff.
There's the punt. And it's going to take a nice Saddleback bounce inside the 10-yard line. And Mount Sac going to take over on their own 8-yard line. And we'll see if they try and do something here. They've got 2 timeouts and 1:28 on the clock. There is a flag on the play.
It'll be interesting if they call it after the play.
At the end of the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, return team number 36.
So it's unsportsmanlike conduct at the end of the play. It'll be half the distance to the goal, I believe. And if the ball was marked at the 8-yard line, it should go down to the 4.
Yeah, because it was interesting discussion because they were trying to say, was it downed already or did they just call the play when they threw that flag? Because if it was still not down, that's first down and 10 for the Bobcats.
Dalen Story called for the unsportsmanlike there. So it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 4-yard line. And I would imagine Mount Sac might want to try and run this clock out. But Saddleback also has 3 timeouts, so if they don't move the ball, Saddleback can take some timeouts and get the ball in good field position. So it'd be interesting to see what happens here. Dante Bell going to swing this pass out. It is complete and brought out across the 10-yard line to about the 11.
Corey, go to that block by Anderson on the far side.
What happens is it actually frees up on the inside. You got 2 people coming on the inside. He goes out to the outside to your kick and punt returner.
And a big sack there. Bell goes down, and we'll see if Fisher uses his timeout here.
And Gavin Bloom gets the sack, but that was the play they were setting up on those 2 quick outs on the outside. They had Anderson going deep, and he had room, but Blum said, no, not so much.
That should be his 2nd sack of the day, too.
It is 5.5 on the season.
So it looks like they're going to let this clock run. I'm surprised Coach Fisher didn't take a timeout there. There was a good minute on the clock and a 3rd and 8 coming up.
And especially since you know you're getting the football back to start off the second half.
Well, their offense hasn't been looking too crisp their last 3 drives, so you might want to go into halftime, regroup, reset. We got the halftime lead. Now let's come back out and score after that.
The Mount Sac takes timeout with 16 seconds left.
Don't forget, here on SportsNetUSA.net, we've got some live soccer action coming up later tonight. That's a 7 p.m. start. If you are a Saddleback fan, a family member, or just an overall supporter of community college athletics, tune in at 7 p.m. where there will be live Saddleback playoff soccer right here on SportsNetUSA.net. Mark Pavlovich, who's directly behind me, is going to be on the call there as Saddleback soccer gets set to try and get themselves towards the, if I'm not mistaken, Final Four, is it? Tonight if they win. So they have the opportunity to get into the Final Four in the state with a win here tonight. And again, that starts at 7 p.m. right here on SportsNetUSA.net. Stay tuned to the homepage so that way you can see what more or what additional game action we have going on here on SportsNetUSA.net throughout the entirety of the year. Real quick, Corey, you had a quick aside earlier. Kerwin Bell.
Kerwin Bell out of Fountain Valley or El Toro?
I thought it was Edison.
Edison. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, Edison High School quarterback. That's a good one. Willie Giddens also out of Fountain Valley. He played well also, but, you know, there's a whole bunch of them.
And just a quick update, Ventura scored a touchdown. They have now taken the lead as that game starts the 4th quarter, 24-21, Ventura in the lead.
Now I
There's
believe
the handoff
Saddleback
up the middle, and
takes a
Saddleback
timeout.
takes a timeout and going to force a punt here.
So Roman Hardin is the deep back if they do punt it. Does he have a touchdown this season, returning a kick?
I don't believe they have a punt return for a touchdown. I believe they've been close quite a bit.
Okay.
Matt's going to check on that in a second. But, Corey, honestly, if I'm Saddleback in this case, I'd send everyone, especially since you've got the punter backed up into his own end zone, not completely where he wants to be set in terms of yardage. You send everyone, and with only 11 seconds left, you get the opportunity to get yourself either a block or into the end zone.
Yeah,
So Saddleback does have one punt return. It was Ben Stewart with that return, not Roman Harden.
Was that the 64-yarder, or am I mistaken?
It was a 56-yarder.
56.
Updating the scoreboard from out of town.
So, and Mount Sac has not had a punt blocked this season,
And Ventura.
and their punter is also all conference on the season, Nicholas Lane.
Correction on that, Corey. They have one punt blocked this season earlier in this game.
Oh, see, that's right, huh?
Roman Harden calls for a fair catch at the 40, and there's 5 seconds left. And we'll see if maybe Saddleback tries to heave one into the end zone here.
Good crowd.
Yeah, the Mount Sac fans have traveled really well. And then again, you want to look at the Saddleback supporters who are directly beneath us here at Saddleback Stadium. Like you said, Corey, a good crowd for community college football coming out to watch the future of the game.
And then we'll have a poll later on the best places to watch and call a community college football game as well.
So Mount Sac going to take their third and final timeout.
You know why they call that timeout? Because they're set up in a prevent defense. Nothing gets behind you, and we're not going to get anybody in the end zone. Kayvon Clark is in the backfield, who has a 90-yard run last week. We saw what he does this week. They don't have a second level in that defense. If for some reason he breaks that first level, gets to the second level, I'm taking Clark one-on-one over any defensive back trying to tackle him at the 15-yard line.
And in that situation, too, you also have a couple wide receivers on either side who are already going to be into the next level blocking.
Yeah. Watch him just kneel it.
So
this is fun, Matt. Enjoying
Yeah.
myself.
So here we go. There's 5 seconds left. I'm honestly surprised Coach Fisher did not call a timeout after that second down sack. They could have had a good 40 seconds here, but 5 seconds on the clock. Tyler Deddens lines up with 4 wide receivers. He's going to heave this one into the end zone, looking for Gentilella. And Gentilella, did he come up with it? Touchdown! Nicholas Gentilella!
We might get a flag here, and that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be a taunting penalty, but just what you guys were talking about with Gentilella, he hadn't been targeted so far today. In this case, he goes up against 3 different guys in the end zone to make that catch, and it actually doesn't catch it at the apex. That ball falls into his lap and is able to make the grab.
Here's the thing. Mount Sac said nobody's getting behind us. Nobody got behind you. But, my goodness, what a play.
Huge play. And remember, the Bobcats get the ball to start the second half. That is a backbreaker of a play there to end this first half. And forgive me, Coach Fisher, for questioning you on not using a timeout. You knew exactly what you were doing.
He just looked up. I saw him, man. He looked up at you and said, we got you. Wow, and that's also bad defense. You can't have that happen.
Especially with 3 defensive backs in the area.
First time that Gentilella has been targeted in this game.
Uganda to attempt the extra point.
Maganda's kick is up. It is good. There are zeros on the clock. We're going to head to the half here on SportsNetUSA.net. Saddleback leading this game by a score of 28-14 over the Mounties of Mount Sac.
We have seen more offensive linemen for Saddleback play. They've run 10 this whole game, and they've been rotating. And it's just like they're sliding position by position.
So here we go, 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line. Tyler Dutton has some pressure, is able to escape it, has a lot of room out across midfield to the 45 to the 40. He puts his head down. Tyler Dutton does not shy away from contact.
And that's Michael Young, the starting safety, makes the tackle out of Goodyear, Arizona, Paradise Honors High School. And Tyler Dutton, as a running back, you see there, as he just, instead of going out of bounds, next time, young man, go out of bounds. You got another half and a game to play.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what Coach Fisher is thinking. You know, they're very close to moving on to next week, and he wants his quarterback there. There's Kayvon Clark up the middle. Pickup of 8.
Quickly back up in Northern California, 21-7. Modesto still with the lead over top of Diablo Valley.
So that Modesto game and the game we're watching right now here, those are the only 2 games that are left. We have 2 teams that have made it on, 2 teams left to move on to the Final Four next week. So we do have a player down for Mount Sac.
So the Bobcats came into this game 445 yards total offense, 227 on the ground, 218 in the air, 40 points per game offensively. Defensively, 6 pick sixes, giving up 21 points per game, only 99 yards on the ground. Mount Sac came in giving up 25 points per game. And Ryan and Matt, this is the defense for Mount Sac that you're not really seeing or accustomed to playing this loose.
I think one thing that, we overlook, because we talk about this offense of Saddleback, we overlook how good their defense actually is. There's the snap and the handoff to Kayvon Clark, who goes up the middle, and he's got a first down and more.
I think part of it, Matt, is that you look at the average numbers, and Saddleback does give up yardage. And that's something that if you're looking at their averages, they give up a lot of yards, but they're not going to give you the points that you're looking for. So you may see drives go 50 yards downfield, but when they need to actually convert inside the 30-yard line, they can't do so because the defense is
Doesn't
there.
it take you back to Coach McElroy's teams in the 2000s where his defense gave up those yards, but they never really broke in those games?
Was it 2015 where you saw a lot of those high averages, but they weren't giving up those scores?
Exactly.
There's a snap. It's low. Dutton picks it up. He's going down deep. And that pass is incomplete. He was looking for Martinez. But you look at since that Riverside game, Saddleback allowed 14 to Chaffee, 13 to Mount San Jacinto. They did have the big game against San Diego Mesa where they gave up 41, but then 10 to Palomar, 7 to Southwestern, 7 to El Camino, and they've given up 14 points at this point. They're just not allowing teams to score. So even if they weren't putting up these ungodly scores that they are, they're not allowing a lot of points. There's the handoff to Kayvon Clark. Breaks a tackle, keeps pushing forward inside the 20-yard line. Clark thinking it's my turn. So Campbell scored a touchdown, then Clark, then Campbell, then Clark, then Campbell. It's Clark's turn now.
And you look at the averages for a guy like Kayvon Clark, and you think back to Cerritos 2017-ish, 2018-ish, where a guy named Ramondre Stevenson was there. People will look at the averages and say, oh, he must be just like him. No, they're very different style of runners. They're picking up yardages in a different way. Kayvon Clark goes right into contact. A guy like Ramondre, even though they averaged around the same in terms of yards per carry, it's different styles of running, especially when you're looking at Kayvon.
3rd down and 5 for Tyler Dutton. There's the handoff to Clark, out across the 20. He's going to stroll into the end zone. Touchdown, Kayvon Clark.
And he's now over 100 yards per game. You look at the angle here on the replay. Again, you see the blocking on the outside to open up a lane on the freeway, and it gets into the end zone for 6.
3 touchdowns for Kayvon Clark today to go along with 3 touchdowns for Darian Campbell.
15 carries, about 110 yards on the day.
Uganda right down the middle. 5:04 remaining third quarter. It's the Cats.
And now Kayvon Clark, he's 48 yards away from 1,000 yards on the season. So he could get there.
And you mentioned earlier this season, this must have been, after the first game Ryan, you and Ryan called this season, it's like he said, Kayvon Clark is a guy who is a 1,000-yard runner. Even though he doesn't have it yet, he is a 1,000-yard back.
Absolutely. If you go back to the earlier games this season, you'll see that Coach Fisher was using 5 different backs. And so Kayvon Clark would get his chance to run, but then he had to wait 5 drives before he came back in again. And as the season went on, that running back room started getting smaller and smaller to the point where it was basically Clark and Campbell with Beverly rushing coming in on some goal line plays. But if Kayvon Clark was getting the work he's getting now at the beginning of the season, we would see he'd have 1,000 yards. Mount Sac with a lateral on the return. I don't see a flag, but that looked like it went forward.
By 5 yards he went forward. I mean, that was a pass play. And
so he releases it from the 21, and it's
cool.
caught at the 25. I don't know how that was not a forward pass.
no flag. No, I'm kidding. But no, hey, if it works, it works. And, guys, this offensive line for Saddleback, I'm going to embellish them and use hyperbole the next time they get the ball.
So 1st and 10 for Mount Sac on their own 45-yard line, trailing this game 49-14. And here comes a little trickery. That carry
And that's
by Wiggins.
He scored last week against El Camino on that exact same play, and he was brought down by Surreal.
First down, Mount San Antonio at the 39.
And he's now out of the ball game.
So it was funny at the beginning, before this game, I had a conversation with Coach Fisher, and I mentioned to him that Mount Sac has had a pretty good run defense this year, and I said, running is what you guys do. Are you going to change anything up? And he looked at me like I was kind of crazy, and he's like, no, we're going to do what we do. That ball's up in the air, and it's intercepted.
Brandon Gonzalez is the one who ends up getting the pick, but like you said, Corey, Brandon Ross is the one who forces the play and pops it up into the air.
Yeah, and he's a captain this game.
So here's the replay. That pass
that just goes off to the receiver. So it hits the receiver's hands, hits his shoulder pad, pops up, and Gonzalez is the one who comes away with the pick.
So a second turnover for Saddleback as they continue to pile on. Going back to what I was saying about Coach Fisher looking at me like I was crazy about changing up and maybe getting away from the running game. We have 4 minutes, 19 seconds left in the third quarter. Saddleback has 241 yards rushing on this game and 6 rushing touchdowns. So Coach Fisher knows what he's doing. Tyler Dudden drops back to pass. He's going to keep this one. Dudden picks up about 8. And I think that someone needs to tell this kid to slide every once in a while.
You know, you like the type of mentality he has as a freshman coming in and leading this team. It's wonderful to see that just slyness, that reverence for the game of football. And this offensive line might be the best offensive line since 2011 here at Saddleback, when they had a guy named Kyle Long on one side and another guy by the name of Menelik Watson on the other side of the line.
So a pickup of 10 by Dudden there sets up a first down. There's a handoff. Darian Campbell up the middle for a pickup of 5.
And you mentioned those two guys from 2011, and you look at the offensive line, and this year they're in that mold, in that style, because they're very athletic. It can move spots and change positions. And is that Campbell who's down?
It looks like it's Campbell who's down.
So 49-14, guys. 3:44 to play here on SportsNetUSA.net. Ryan, something's coming up after on SportsNetUSA.net, right?
Yes, indeed. At 7 p.m., there will be some Saddleback soccer live here on the air, as you will have Mark Pavlovich, who's directly behind me, on the call there, as Saddleback has an excellent chance to get themselves into the Final Four. In women's soccer, it is one of the best teams, not only just in the state of California, but across the nation as well. At one point, they were ranked number 2 in the nation. And again, they have an opportunity to get into the Final Four with a win tonight. That is a 7 p.m. start right here on SportsNetUSA.net. If I'm not mistaken, that will be against Golden West College. Again, you can catch all the action right here on SportsNetUSA.net at 7 p.m.
Yeah, Santiago Canyon's up on Long Beach, 1-0. I believe that's going to start the second half.
So Darian Campbell able to come off the field under his own power. Jalen Beverly rushing comes in to take his place. Tyler Dudden going into the air. And there's I thought there was a flag, but no, I was seeing things.
No, it looked like it because there were a couple people playing playing catch directly behind where the official was. But you look at that route there, Corey, Matt, that ball's just going towards the outside of the hash mark. It's a nice, easy play there for Dudden to be able to pick up his rhythm again.
Brings up a 3rd down and 5. There's the snap, the pass complete to Martinez. Martinez once again just making moves. And he picked up an extra 20 yards there, just juking people out of their shoes.
Pretty much. I mean, that's just nasty.
I'll bring it to you, Corey. Your point guard at the top of the point with the guy who's defending on you. You attack the lead foot. That's what he does every time he goes to that juke.
The lead foot, the left foot, the right foot, the feet, the hand, whatever. I mean, he just tap danced his way.
And then Tyler Dudden with a dab at midfield. There's Jalen Beverly rushing up the middle. Pickup of 2, maybe 3. Oh, maybe 4 or 5.
It's just impressive to see it, and it looks like they're having fun out there. Not anything too maliciously, to draw penalties, but they're having fun because execution and what they're doing is fun. And they're executing right now.
So we go 2nd down and 7. Dudden takes the snap, drops back to pass. That one was off target.
And he
that
thought
Krosky over there?
It is indeed. He thought that Krosky was going to come back towards him, and instead Krosky goes up to the sticks and turns around.
Pass incomplete, intended for Max Krosky.
The offensive unit had a few all-conference players with Kayvon Clark, Francisco Martinez, Nicholas Gentilella, Tyler Dudden, all conference performers. That's just the skill positions.
3rd down and 6. Dudden going to pass. Gets this one off to Martinez. Martinez got himself another 1st down.
It'll be close.
Matt, Corey, how nice is it as a quarterback when you're able to take 2 steps back into the pocket and it just keeps that perfect oval with guys rushing directly behind you, but not actually able to penetrate that oval.
You have no worries. You're not afraid to get in an elevator with 6 other people because they're not coming near you. And on the offensive line, the smartest people on the field, Ryan Carby, Talani Aano, Greg Shade, and Nicholas Brown all made all-conference for Saddleback.
So it's a 1st down and 10. They can get a 1st down at the 2-yard line. There's the handoff to Campbell. Campbell fights his way forward. Pickup of 2. And you look up at the clock. We got 1 minute 29 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Bobcats up by 5 touchdowns. There's a flag that comes out late. And you got to wonder at what point Coach Fisher says, you know what, I'm going to pull my guys back. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. We saw Darian Campbell go down. He's back in the game, but he did go down for a little bit. At what point do you make that call?
I think if you're looking sub 8 minutes left in the 4th quarter, you want to absolutely assure yourself that you are going to finish off this game first and then you can go to that decision. Also, guys, an update from Diablo Valley and Modesto. Modesto has punched it in once again, so it is 28-7. Modesto with the lead with under 10 minutes to play in that game. So Ed Ford, the prophet here, he said that Modesto would play Diablo Valley very tough because of how good they had played throughout the season. That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, so the NorCal prophet, Ed Ford.
So that was a personal foul on Saddleback, pushed the ball back 15 yards. Going to set up a 2nd down and 23. Dudden rolls to his right, gets this one off complete to Gentilella. His first catch since that Hail Mary.
Evan Odom couldn't do anything with him. Brings him down, but Gentilella, confident player out there. You don't really know he's out there until he makes those plays, Matt. Like, you know, Hail Mary catch at the end. Play right there with the stiff arm, getting extra yardage.
So it's a 3rd down and 11. Dudden's got 4 wide receivers, and he's got Darian Campbell in the backfield with him. And a little bit of movement on the line.
That would be a false start, absolutely, on that right-hand side of the offensive line.
Gabriel Alvarado.
Also, a scoring update from not just football, but men's soccer as well. Surprising result as that game is over. LA City 2, Oxnard 0.
Really?
LA City with the upset over top of Oxnard in the men's bracket.
Wow. Didn't they beat Cuyamaca too?
I believe so, yes.
Tyler Dudden looking into the end zone, going for Gentilella. Gentilella nearly pulled that down with one hand. Unable to get it, though. Looking for a flag, but one's not coming.
Watch the replay here. If he makes this catch, I would have called that the greatest catch I've ever seen.
And there was a shove there right before, so he had a reason to be looking for that flag.
Actually, going back to your point, Corey, they end up having a panic attack against Pasadena City College, going down by 1, and I'll get to that in a little.
34-yard kick from Maganda is up, and it is no good. Hold it to the right.
This kick is no good, wide right. 7 seconds left now in the 3rd quarter.
I cannot see anything. So yeah, they wow, that's 2 big upsets they pulled off in this playoffs.
Yeah, LA City, remember, they, in that first round, played Pasadena City College. They were tied at the end of regulation. At the end of the first overtime, Pasadena goes up 3-2. But then LA City with 3 straight goals in the final 3 minutes of play in that one to end up getting a win. They would go on to face Cuyamaca thereafter. They get an upset there against a top 3 team in the nation for some people, top 3 in the state for most people. And then, of course, they beat Oxnard, who recently won the state championship 2 years ago.
So 1st and 10 for Mount Sac.
And now we're going to see Herrera, Matt.
Herrera's first pass of the day is incomplete.
And Matt, let's ask you, do you find this surprising that it took so long to bring in Herrera?
I am a little surprised. You know, it's not as though Bell has been playing poorly, but the way that these two guys have basically shared time all year long, you would think that once this game started to get a little out of hand, that they would make that move, and they just didn't. There's the handoff up the middle. They pick up a 1 yard. And surprisingly, that carry right there, the first carry for Aiden Ramos in the second half.
And less than 35 yards on the ground. I mean, that's the offensive player of the year. He scored the first touchdown, 19 touchdowns this season. Yeah, 7 carries, 35 yards. That's a good day for your defense.
Yeah. Before this game, Coach Fisher said to me that his main goal for the defense was to contain Aiden Ramos and contain Devin Anderson. And between the two of those guys, they've got 41 yards of offense.
And that'll get it done all day long. And it's like some of the best performances we've seen in community college athletics, because I had this conversation with Mark a couple days ago about who we've seen, especially in the last 10 years of California community college football. Players like Imari DiMercado, who played here at Saddleback. We mentioned Watson and Long, who played 2011, so I can't add. That's a little bit more than 10 years. But we've seen players like Rashad White in Tampa Bay, DJ Reed, who went to Cerritos. Rashad White played at Mount SAC. Remember that a couple years ago. We've seen Hollywood Brown in College of the Canyons, who played yesterday in the NFL. We've seen, and you mentioned Ramondre Stevenson, also out of Cerritos. We saw Jalen Watson, who played at Ventura, although they lost today in 2016. So I won't even get to the guys you do know, like a guy named Josh and a guy named Aaron, but we won't talk about them.
Well, I was going to say,
and
if you want to keep rolling back in with College of the Canyons history, you could go Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yeah. So just in the last 10 years, we've seen all pro players at this level.
Here we go, 3rd down and 9. Herrera, he got leveled. The ball comes out. Saddleback's got it.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a jackhammer is Ali Latuli with that sack and came in on the left side. And again, a beautiful play as Charles how do you say his name, Ryan? Abuzame, excuse me. He comes up with the recovery.
Herrera just absolutely leveled there. And the 3rd turnover of the game for Saddleback.
And I think it kind of goes back to our conversation at the start of the game. If you can control the line of scrimmage in this one against Mount SAC, you're going to have a very good chance to not only win the game but dominate. And that's, honestly, guys, that's exactly what the defensive line for Saddleback has done. They have not made it comfortable for Bell. Now Herrera as well. The defensive line and the linebacking core for Saddleback has done a fantastic job of owning the line of scrimmage.
Okay, so up until 14 minutes, as there's a timeout taken, as Saddleback is up 49-14, 14:52 left to go in the 4th quarter. Up until now, I may be alone on this one. Golden West and Saddleback are the 2 best teams I have seen this season play football.
I don't think I disagree with you on that. I think especially let's take it to post-Fullerton College loss for Saddleback. Up to this point, you're looking at Golden West and Saddleback having 2 of the top 3 offenses in Southern California, 2 of the top 10 defenses in Southern California. Special teams has favored Saddleback quite a bit in their last 8 games of play. I don't disagree with you on that. I think these are the 2 teams that should be in the Southern California Championship.
Matt, what you got?
Yeah, absolutely. That I have not seen anything to tell me that any team is on the same level as these 2 teams. There's Jalen Beverly rushing up the middle for a pickup of 2. You know, Coach Fisher told me before this season even started, he said to me, this team that we have this year is better than the team last year. Remember, this team won a bowl game last year. This was a good team last year. And he flat out said to me, this is a better team. And everything they have done this year has proved him absolutely right. This team is the games that we have watched have been nearly flawless. Dudden gets that one off to Martinez. Martinez cuts inside, and it is stopped at the 1-yard line. I thought he got in.
So did the crowd. So again, Matt, you mentioned this team last year won a bowl game. Trey Kukuk was the quarterback. Dane Benedicts was the wide receiver. Brandon Bockley was a tight end on that team. They're all now at Louisiana Tech playing.
Up the middle, touchdown, Jalen Beverly rushing. Or Leonidas Bell, sorry. Leonidas Bell, who we have not seen in a matter of, it's been weeks since we've seen Leonidas Bell take the field.
Which is funny because at the start of the season, the first 2 weeks, he was the primary running back for this team.
Yeah. So that is 7 rushing touchdowns on this game. And Maganda, not able to get that kick off, is blocked. And this is going to be 2 points for Mount SAC.
And that's Gavin Stewart who takes it all the way back.
A flag comes out.
Returned by 23 Childress.
Oh, excuse me, Kanye Childress, not Gavin Stewart. And did you say Leonidas Bell had a cast on his arm?
Score is good. Sideline warning. Saddleback.
So 2 points on the blocked extra point returned.
Remaining.
And you know that things aren't quite working out the way that you hoped when your biggest play is a blocked extra point return for 2 points.
Now you just hope everything we said good about Saddleback doesn't come crumbling down in the last 13 minutes and 39 seconds.
So with that 2 points for Mount SAC, the score is Saddleback 55, Mount SAC 16.
Once again, we want to let you know that at 7 p.m. right here on SportsNetUSA.net, the women's soccer playoff, the right to go to the Final Four, will be here on SportsNetUSA.net. It is Saddleback. It is Golden West College. And that, again, will be at 7 p.m. right here, the same channel that you're watching, SportsNetUSA.net.
They are in the final 2 minutes of that game in Modesto. Modesto set to punch their ticket.
Schwartz kicks it off. And it'll be
They've made it 35-7 with a minute left. So I'm pretty confident that that one's going to be going Modesto's way.
Kind of surprised that they're throwing the ball. They're up by 3 touchdowns with a minute left on the clock, but
Hey, Pirates do what they want.
Boo.
those soccer fans on hand. And Bobcats host Golden West in women's soccer tonight in the regional finals. That game starts at 7 for those looking to stick around and watch.
so for all intents and purposes, we've got 3 of our final 4 nailed down. And unless something really, really crazy happens, we know our final 4. Herrera gets this one away, complete.
Herrera's pass is complete.
And the ball came out at the end,
Makes the catch.
but they're saying that he was down. It was Amari Wiggins making the catch.
And he's been really the offensive highlight in this game for Mount SAC.
First down for Mount SAC at their own 47.
The one highlight of very few. Mount SAC, that play finally put them over 200 yards of offense. Herrera lets this one go, and nobody's anywhere near that ball. There is a flag out.
That's going to go against Saddleback. It should be defensive holding on the far side of the field.
Pass interference.
Oh, pass interference.
Number 13. 15-yard penalty. First down.
12th penalty of the game for Saddleback. So, I mean, they've been lucky that this year that this massive penalties that they rack up every game hasn't come back to hurt them. It's not going to hurt them today, but at some point, you know, when you go up against a team like Golden West, you can't have these penalties like that, like they have been putting up this year.
Yeah, you're going to have to cut that in half.
Herrera looking downfield. He's going to tuck it and run. A pickup of about 9 yards for Herrera.
Jonas Wilford in for the first time. He's also out of Desert Vista High School.
Gain of 9 on the play for the Mounties. Second and 1.
And how important do you think it is when, especially from these high school players and from Arizona, playing on the same high school and they come to the same school?
There's the handoff up the middle. Pickup of 2 and a first down.
But again, to have somebody to play with that you're familiar with in another state.
I mean, it gives you that sense of not only familiarity, but it's the camaraderie of knowing, hey, you've got the same experience as I do. Maybe we played in the same league out in Arizona. Maybe we also went to the same camps as well. So there are a lot of times that these guys know each other for a long time. They may have gone to different high schools, but there is that bigger sense of familiarity.
That pass incomplete, looking for Devin Anderson. Anderson came into this game the leading receiver in receptions, in yards, in receiving touchdowns. Not a single catch for Anderson in this game.
Wow. Max Grady on the coverage there, and that just goes to show you how good the corners have been in Brandon Ross, Emmett Carter, Lucas Short.
Second down and 10 for the Mounties. Herrera puts this one up. It is tipped and falls incomplete.
Wilford on the deflection.
And Matt, earlier you were talking, or asking us, I should say, when do you start putting in those third and fourth string guys? The answer would be with about 12 and a half minutes left in the fourth quarter. But I think this is really important too, because not only are you setting yourself up for next week, guys, you're also setting yourself up next year when you have the opportunity for these guys who haven't had as much in-game play time.
Herrera looking across the middle, has a man complete. Brought down inside the 15-yard line.
Tuffley did a nice job of making that catch and keep running on his route as Herrera was going to stand in his pocket until he found somebody to throw to. He had a good 5 seconds, and Tuffley just continued on his square in to make that catch.
And that game in Modesto has gone final. Modesto with a 35-7 victory. They are the third of the 4 teams in the Final Four.
Jaden Genova, an outstanding play on the outside. Damari Wiggins, we saw him score last week against El Camino on that play. We saw him pick up 17 in the first half on that little end around. This time, Genova is there to cut him back inside. Did not get juked, also in on the tackle for no gain, or a loss of 1.
Second down and 11 for Mount Sac. Herrera takes the snap, looking into the end zone, overthrows it.
If this had been Canadian football, that would have been a touchdown.
At least he has something to hang his hat on.
So Max was on the coverage. He was getting help on the backside from Damari Washington.
Third down and 11. Herrera gets that one off, complete, and into the end zone for a touchdown.
Jaden Harris on an excellent catch on the dropping a dime from Hunter Herrera on that play. As you see the precision on that replay, only where his player can make the catch, double teamed as the double team was coming over from the linebacker, beat the safety, or excuse me, beat the corner on an in route, and just an outstanding play.
So Mount Sac back on the scoreboard. That's their first offensive points here in the second half. They're going to go for 2 to try and cut this lead to 31. And that pass falls incomplete. 10 minutes, 39 seconds remaining here in this game. Saddleback leads by a score of 55-22. Saddleback going to get the ball back, and I would imagine that we have seen the last of the likes of Tyler Dudden and Darian Campbell and Kayvon Clark.
Yeah, and Ryan, did you see who made that tip? I couldn't tell if it was Devontae Holmes or, again, if it was Wilford.
Honestly, I didn't think there was a tip. I think that ball went straight through the receiver's hands.
Oh, it wasn't tipped?
It was, in fact, tipped, so
okay.
I'd forward over to my left. says that it was tipped, so I didn't end up catching who that was.
That's okay. I'm going to give them half each.
It's like a half a sack, but it's a half a PBU.
Pretty much. It's just like peanut butter and jelly sandwich without the jelly. It's just peanut butter.
And there's the onside kick. It's going to go out of bounds.
So you look at this Saddleback history, 3 national championships in their football program in 85, 92, 96. And when you look at the history of California, well, Southern California Community College football, you look at Fullerton was a team that was dominant. Mount Sac was a team that was dominant. But in the 90s, the new breed started coming along with Saddleback, with Grossmont, with Palomar in the 90s. It really brought more to the community college football game.
So it's going to be Nicky Johnson in at quarterback. He's got Patrick Bassley with him. There's the handoff to Bassley.
Bassley on the carry.
Corey, was it 2010, 2011 where Mount Sac went back-to-back?
Tackle Taven Bean.
I believe, yeah, I was around then. Yeah, Mount Sac, yeah, went 2010, 2011, around that time when they had such good teams that you really just saw them and said, yeah, they're going to win. And they've always had the athletes. They've always had that program confidence, we're going to say, from being a Mountie, from someone who was there for many, many years. You understood that lineage that they have in every sport, that confidence.
That was a 4-yard pickup for Bassley. There's another handoff to Bassley up the middle. He's got about a yard, maybe 2 yards there. Brings up a 3rd down and 4.
Coleman and Richardson in on the tackle.
Clock ticks under 10 minutes left in this game.
They'll mark it at the 44. 3rd down and 4 now for the Cats.
Corey, to put a bow on your 2-point attempt, it was officially Wilford who got the deflection.
All right.
Nicky Johnson's first pass of the game is complete.
Nicky Johnson's pass.
Kyle Bell gets his first reception.
Kyle Bell on the receiving end. First down
Now,
for the
was
Cats.
Nicky Johnson the starting quarterback at the beginning of
Nicky
the season?
Johnson was the starting quarterback at the beginning of the year.
That's exactly where I was going with it, is how privileged are you as a program in an offense where you have your starting quarterback from the start of the season and a guy who also started one game in the back half of the season as your guy that you go to after your starter comes out.
Yeah. And Nicky Johnson got some play last year backing up Kakuk. There's Bassley off the right side.
Patrick Bassley on the carry again.
And you'd really call him a natural athlete. He played 3 sports in high school. And he's one of those guys that you'll probably see at the next level on some team. It's like, hey, I know that guy, but he was a quarterback when I saw him as a Bobcat. Now he's playing whatever he wants to be or whatever they need him to play at that next level.
And it's funny because Coach Fisher, when I asked him earlier this year about Tyler Dudden kind of taking over, said that it was Tyler Dudden's athleticism that led to that move. But Nicky Johnson is an athletic guy himself.
Bassley's going to be
Jasney Richardson makes the stop.
Loss of 2 there for Bassley.
Or Najee, excuse me.
42, tackle made by Richardson.
This is just a really good team.
37 now.
They really are. There's every aspect of play. They are solid.
And for football fans, it's really appreciative to watch simply a really good team. that knows their roles, knows their jobs, and they just straight up and do them.
Nikki Johnson drops back to pass. That one is complete.
Pass is complete. Bruce
Ryan?
Katige.
Yeah,
That's how you say it?
Uskategi ends up going to the far.
Uskategi.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He goes to that far side. It's funny, Matt. It looked like he was getting ushered off to the sideline. Then he gains an additional 15 yards by fighting through what would be two different tacklers. Maybe not 15, maybe 11.
Out of El Camino High School. Excuse me. Yeah, El Camino High School in Oceanside.
But going back to what you were saying, Corey, about this just being a really good team, that game next week against Golden West, it's going to be a really interesting game, and it should be a really good game between two just quality football teams.
Let's speak superfluously, whatever that word I'm trying to say. That's going to be the best college football game you'll watch all year. Any level of college football.
That is a bold statement. We are under 6 minutes left in this game. Everything is decided except for the final score. Saddleback leads by a score of 55-22. Nikki Johnson lets that one go. Incomplete. He was looking for Bale.
Johnson's pass
Broken up by Odom.
Broken up by Evan Odom.
Odom just gets his hand in there, smacks the ball down, makes sure that it gets away from the receiver's hand. Good timing on that.
Nikki Johnson with the handoff to Bastley. Bastley up the middle. Not much there. Pickup of 2 brings up a 4th down and 8.
And for Saddleback, when you watch their top 6 rushers, all average 4.5 yards per carry or better. Kayvon Clark, who's a 1,000-yard rusher who got up to 900, about 950. Darian Campbell, who could have been a 1,000-yard rusher in a full season for any team. He had 367 this year, average 5.2. And Tyler Dutton was the 3rd leading rusher for the Bobcats this year.
Yeah, you got, Beverly rushing, averaging 4.6. You got Bastley averaging 5 yards per carry. And then, as we were saying, Leonidas Bell was the main back at the beginning of the year. Maganda's kick up and good this time. 58-22 is the score. 512 yards of offense for Saddleback today, compared to 243 from Mount Sac. Like, there are times when you look up at a score and it's lopsided, and you can say, "Oh, well, the game was actually closer than what that score shows." This is not for this one. This game has been all Saddleback all day long.
Yeah, it was a good first half, but you got the feeling that Saddleback was going to pull away eventually, and they did.
Some of the out-of-town scores for women's soccer will be interesting to note for Mark's game later on tonight. Santiago Canyon opens up a big-time lead over Long Beach, 4-1.
Wow.
They're in the latter stages of the second half there. And then also Sierra and San Francisco. It's Sierra 2, San Francisco 1.
And you go back to that Santiago Long Beach. Was it the men or the women who was supposed to be really good and favored in soccer?
It's definitely the women, because
Okay.
the men were not great this season.
Oh, okay, so it was the women, all right.
That kickoff taken up past the 35-yard line to about the 38-yard line. We got 4 minutes, 16 seconds left here on SportsNetUSA.net. The Saddleback Bobcats going to be moving on to the Final Four. They're going to take on Golden West next week. They lead this game by a score of 58-22.
And this Bobcat team has held Aiden Ramos, who's had a short stay out there on the field, to 7 carries, 35 yards. He went over 100 yards rushing 5 times this season, 19 touchdowns this season, and it was simply non-existent.
Herrera drops back to pass, gets this one away. It's complete. And a nice pickup there.
Ferris pass complete.
Bronzman Davis with the reception. Saddleback has 276 yards rushing on this game. They have more yards rushing than Mount Sac has of total offense. This has just been as good a game as you could hope for if you were Saddleback. Herrera gets that one away, and it's complete down to the 21-yard line.
Humphrey makes the stop. Harris again. He's probably been the best offensive player for Mount Sac today when you mix in his receptions and returns.
Yeah, you got Harris and you got Damari Wiggins are the two guys who have come out here for Mount Sac and done something. Everybody else has had a real tough game.
Have to deal with Jaden Genova.
Straight up the middle.
You see Genova just takes one jab step to his right, comes back over towards his left hip, and he's got a wide open lane.
He's had a strong game. I mean, you almost feel like Genova and Knudsen and Marley McKenzie and those guys who wear the 40s are the same player.
Second down and 19. Herrera drops back to pass, looking deep, going into the end zone, and that ball is overthrown, went through the end zone.
So Bronzman Davis, that was his first reception, maybe his second reception of the game, and he's their team's second leading receiver, as you see the replay. Second leading receiver on the team.
Yeah, Bronzman Davis and Devin Anderson, the two leading receivers for Mount Sac, have combined for 2 catches today. Both by Davis. Third down and 19. Oh, straight up the middle. Herrera completes that pass, but took a huge hit.
And you know what? You like that in a quarterback. You like Hunter Herrera, the way he stood in there, knew the hit was coming, but again, he completed the pass.
R.J. Willis with the reception. Fourth down and 7 right here. Herrera takes the snap, pressure up the middle again, has a man in the end zone, and a touchdown. R.J. Willis.
And watch the play again. Watch the move. I'm going this way. No, I'm not. I'm just going to juke you and get wide open. And that's something that you got to feel good for Hunter Herrera, because the hit he took the last play to complete the pass, you deserve that touchdown, young man.
It's a well-thrown ball, too, there, Corey, because that's exactly what he needs. Just a little floater. You see it go up to the B in Saddleback, and he's just floating it over top of the last defensive back. He's not trying to zip it in there or anything. Just get it to a spot where only your receiver can catch up to it and let him use his athleticism to do so.
Yeah, and on both angles, you see both that exact point.
Going for 2. Pass incomplete.
Pass is incomplete.
And I should have said both angles of that replay that you saw. You saw exactly what Ryan said.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
It's the 2-minute timeout. 58-28 is the score. Mount Sac going to need to find a way to score 5 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes.
And of course, again, just a reminder to everyone who didn't hear the scoring updates from before, the 2 teams in Northern California have been set. It will be San Mateo and Modesto as the final 2 teams, with Their matchup coming up next week, the right to go to the state championship, which will be held here in Southern California. And then, as the score remains the same here, Saddleback will be moving on to take on Golden West College, who had a big victory over Ventura in the fourth quarter of their matchup. So Saddleback will be traveling to Golden West College, wherever they end up hosting that. That will be the Southern California Championship, which will be played again for the right to go to the state championship, and that will be held in Southern California. So Golden West and Saddleback, two teams from really week number 2 or 3 who have been the best in the, possibly in the state overall. Two of the best offenses, that's for sure.
Absolutely. There's the onside kick, and it's recovered by Saddleback by Patrick Basley.
I'm not sure that could take a better bounce for someone on the hands team. That thing hit the carpet and popped up and hit him in the chest.
And you know what he was thinking, I got to score.
So 1:53 seconds left on the clock. There is nothing left to do here but run the clock out.
I have to give thanks for everybody around here on this extended Thanksgiving weekend.
It's going to be Carson Howard in at quarterback.
Personnel, our admins, everybody works in athletics. Make this happen. Of course, the great Brett Franchino down in the field, the game ops manager, and Dan Floss, our dean and AD.
There's a snap. There's the handoff. Basley with a pickup of 1.
Get on the tackle for Mount San Antonio was 50. Blake Thompson.
Clock keeps running.
The trainers Rocky Sherman and Deb and Dan all do such a great job. Keep these kids in uniforms, and of course, the great Kate Funches.
Carson Howard takes the snap. There's the handoff to Basley, who goes up the middle. Pickup of 7.
Our trainers, led by Jermaine.
This is a big statement win here for the Bobcats, too. I mean, you look at what we thought was going to be an excellent, tight game throughout. You know, Matt, you and I were talking about it beforehand, so is Corey as well. We said this is going to be a real tight-knit game from two very quality teams here in Southern California. And while Mount SAC has proven that they are a quality team here in Southern California, Saddleback just showed that they are shoulders above their next tier of competition.
Mount SAC came in final rankings, number 3 in the state on the final rankings. Mount Saddleback was
5.
Yeah.
There's the handoff to Basley, and that is our final play of the game. We're going to watch the clock tick down. The Bobcats will move on to the Final Four. So here on SportsNetUSA.net, our final score, the Saddleback Bobcats win this game by a score of 58-28. I'm Matt Rogers alongside Ryan Osborn, Corey Neyland, Albert Robles, Ed Ford. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. Once again, final score, Bobcats 58, St. Mount SAC 28 here on SportsNetUSA.net. Have a great day, everyone.